Ladies and gentlemen, what is going tonight? What is going on tonight? I know it is at a late moment. I understand that, and I'm not on at the usual time that I am usually slated for, which is at 7 p.m. But nonetheless, welcome once again to the Big Time Show podcast that is being seen and heard live pretty much from all different places live. We've been seeing presently on Facebook and on Twitter and YouTube and on the Sports Empire Network. We're being seen from the Big Time Show Facebook page as well. Welcome to the show. Welcome on this late night edition of it. Not used to coming on this late, but I had few things that were going on personally that I had to attend to. But here I am now. I'm here, ready to rock. Obviously, most of you, if you're my age, you're just about ready for bed. Hey, let's just be honest. Most of you that are watching me now, if you're my age, you can't stay up like you used to. So we're here tonight um, at 9 o'clock. Welcome to the show. Real quick, do not want to bore you too long and don't want to take up most of your time. But we do have a few things that really one in particular that I want to talk about tonight um, that I think is on the heart and the minds of Cowboy fans everywhere, and that is obviously this off season play, where this where a lot of dreams start and a lot of crazy rumors get started. This is where a lot of Cowboys fans start drinking the wrong type of Kool-Aid, and before you know it, you really dream wishing upon a star per se. For people who are not coming to Dallas to play on the team, but you have this dream, and there's nothing wrong with dreaming. But there has to at some point set in a sense of reality where your dream scenario won't work except on one place, and that's Madden 23. Uh, you can get some of these guys that you're hearing around on rumors that is. You can get it on Madden. You can't get it on. You can't get it on this in real life. There's a such thing called a salary cap that kind of prohibits your dream. Uh, what's up, Terry? What's going on? You watching wrestling? I see you. Yeah, I came on. Yeah, what's up, Coach? I see you, Coach. It's called a salary cap. Uh, you know, exactly. A lot of guys, exactly, Terry. You're already on it already. We've seen it already. I'm not going to even waste a lot of time talking about this. A lot of this stuff we've seen, for the last few years, where people will use the Cowboys name and it works. It drives up the price. A lot of guys really never have intentions on signing with the Cowboys in the first place. Even those that come for visits, they really are not really looking for that, uh, looking for the Cowboys, but it works. For instance, we can use last year around this time. Von Miller name was hot in Dallas. He's a Texas boy. He always wanted to play with the Cowboys and all that kind of stuff. Came to Dallas for a visit. You know, I don't know if we are really offered him a real serious contract or if we offered him one at all. But what I do know is just a couple days later, he went to Buffalo and signed a humongous deal as if he was 23, 24 years old again. And the rest they say is history. So I usually don't get up for free agents. The big name free agents like we all want. Not because we can't afford them. It's because I've been watching the Cowboys and how they operate, especially for the last, 7 to 10 years. Uh, by now, if you're really a Cowboy fan, you know how Stephen Jones works. We've been through this a million times. He does shop for free agents. However, he shops for free agents on day 8 and day 9. He gets these guys that are second. He really gets free agents for depth purposes. He does not get free agents for impact, like immediate impact. That's just not what he does anymore. Uh, there was an exception, and he really doesn't do that. Is for, um, he really can't. Even when it comes to trades, other than the Amari Cooper trade, that may have been the last time that we really got a real impact guy day one. When Amari came here, it was an immediate impact, even if he didn't catch a ball, which we all know he did, because Amari Cooper made defensive coordinators pay attention to one side of the field. As a matter of fact, all coverage rolled to Amari Cooper. Double teams became a part of what Amari Cooper had to go by. So that's what you call immediate impact. Sometimes it's not measured just in catches and yards and touchdowns. It's like, when you get this guy, can you afford to go one-on-one with him? That's the kind of impact Amari Cooper made with our team. And that's the kind of free agents that most Cowboy fans want. We want immediate impact. I'm at the point now where I want that now. And if you follow me for a while, the only reason why I'm saying that, I just don't believe that the window, and this is just me. Somebody else may say something totally different, and their points or their argument points may be right. I just don't think that the window is open. I think the window is closing on us. That's me. You may think differently, but I just think the window is closing, and I believe that when you're 12-4, you don't need a whole lot. You just need a few more pieces that'll get you, let's just say, from 12 wins to 14 wins. That's what I'm talking about. Now, does those 14 wins mean that you going to the Super Bowl? Of course not. But what it does, it puts you in a prime position, or one of those boxes at the beginning of the year where teams try to check it off. One of the things when you're a team like the Cowboys, one of the things that I guarantee you they thought about, at least talked about, was not only winning the division, but even perhaps having home field advantage. We're right at that doorstep. If it wasn't for last year, the Jacksonville game and the Green Bay game last year, we could have very easily had 14 wins last year, which probably would have got us a division championship and a number one seed. So we're not. What's up, Greg? We're not far away. We need. I understand a lot of people are excited about the draft. I get it. It's nothing wrong. You never know what you're gonna get in the draft. You may get the next. Maybe a Hall of Famer in there. Who knows? But we've tried all that before, and it works. It just depends on what your measure of level of success you're talking about. If you're strictly just saying Super Bowl, no, we have not attained that goal, so you probably think we ain't done nothing. But if you're talking about growth, then yes, we're better. You got to keep in mind this franchise we're just starting getting used to going to the playoffs again, consecutively, I may add. The Cowboys have made 2 back-to-back appearances in the playoffs. So we're just starting to really get this program really kicking again. So it just really all depends on what your measure of success is. It's coming, Coach. I'm almost there. Coach. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. I'm almost there with that. Almost. I'm close, real close. That's coming. But if you want to give, those that want to give, if you're on Facebook, I have that on whatever page you're looking for right there. You'll know the stars are right there. I don't really just, say nothing about it, but it's right there. The show is earned the right to have stars. So if you want to support that way, you can. You can support doing the show by doing stars. Appreciate you. We are at the point now, at least my view, we've seen the draft and developmental stage. It works. Okay. It does work. But what it has not done, and this is the bottom line, it has not taken us over the hump. And don't get it wrong, it has the draft and developmental stage. And what I'm talking about is guys who we've drafted in the first 4 years or so. What it has produced is Pro Bowlers. So we're not gonna act like it's just not a success now. I know we like to hammer down on Steven and Jerry and all that, but these guys have produced Pro Bowlers with their system. Matter of fact, let's take it a step further. The draft and developmental stage has produced all pros. First and second team, all pros with guys who they drafted, and within the first 3 years, they're Pro Bowlers. We got a nice little list to look from there. We can start with your quarterback, Pro Bowler, his first few years. Zeke Elliott, first Pro Bowler. Zach Martin, all pro is, since he walked in the door. I mean, we go Michael Parsons, 2-time first team All Pro. I mean, Diggs, All Pro. You can't argue. I know I'm leaving some folks, even the people that we like to get rid of. Do you realize that Leighton Vander Esch in his rookie year was a first team All Pro? I know that messed you up, but that's the truth. Leighton Vander Esch in his first year was a first team All Pro. Unbelievable. Y'all see what I'm saying? So we can't just knock what Jerry and Steven have done. We can't just knock it. It has been successful, but it hadn't gotten us over the hump. And that's where That's where my dilemma comes in on, I guess you could say, how to build a football team. No, I'm not asking for us to do like the Rams did. I'm not asking us to do like Tampa Bay did a couple years ago. I'm not even asking what to do like what Philadelphia did by getting free agents and then, of course, building on the draft from last year. What I'm talking about is this roster that the Cowboys have been known as being one of the top rosters in the NFL. I mean, every year. We always get that credit of having one of the best rosters in the league. I mean, that's just come along with it, and it's the truth. Um, but we're missing one element. To me, we're missing some elements, and then we don't need much. We don't need much. We don't need much. What we need is some real impact guys. That same type of impact that Amari Cooper had when he first got here. I'm talking about day one impact, day one difference makers, day one guys that you know because you got this guy, you really got a shot to do something different. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And so, out of all these rumors and stuff like that, there are a lot of names that have been called up. First of all, we already know Stephen Jones not going to do it. We know Jerry Jones is not going to do it. However, there are some guys that I think is interesting. I think it's real interesting. One of those names that you've been hearing for the last few days is Jalen Ramsey. Now, every time a free agent they talking about trading or a free agent, one of the first things you're gonna hear is that Dallas would benefit from this. Dallas is in talks with, Dallas. That's the splash, that's the clickbait. That's just what ESPN is going to do. However, I will bite the apple on this one a little bit. Let me just go on and tell you right now. Jalen Ramsey would be a tremendous benefit to this team. And the only way you're going to get him is to trade for him. We're talking about a guy. I just want to just say this. Jalen Ramsey at this point would help us tremendously. Would that get us to the Super Bowl? Well, that remains to be seen. But I do know it would help us. So, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way here. I don't know. I want to know if you guys can see this first before I start experimenting here. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see this? Somebody let me know real quick. Let me see so I can do something to it if you cannot read this. I just want to see somebody tell me something. Somebody tell me something while I just keep on going. Let me know. Ramsey is just the idea to me now of him and Diggs. You see it, Terry? Okay. It's the idea of him and Diggs that excites me. Um, do I think Jerry or Steven would do this? Based off their history, no. And I'm not even saying they should. I'm saying that just this guy makes our defense, he would make our defense stronger. He would. Uh, he's only 28 years old. Let's look at it from the top here. He's 28 years old. I mean, he's pretty much still somewhat well, I ain't gonna say somewhat. He probably still is in his prime, or he's just, he may not be the number one cornerback that he once was, but let's just be realistic. He's not number 20 either. He's still one of the best cornerbacks in this game. I give him a top 5 if you ask me. The kid is awesome. He can play. We all know that. And no doubt, if he was to come to the Cowboys, if he did come, there's your argument right there that he's automatically would be the number 1 or 2 cornerback on this team, depending on what you like. He's better than all of our other cornerbacks combined. He's better than Bland. He's better than Anthony Brown. He's better than Jordan Lewis. I'm just naming guys who's already there. He's better than Boss Man Fat. Come on now. This is Jalen Ramsey who we're talking about. There's no way you can add a guy to this team and say that this defense would not be better. The idea of having 2 number 1 cornerbacks on this team excites me. I ain't saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying that it mean we'll be the number 1 defense in the league. I'm not saying none of it. I am saying that if you add a Jalen Ramsey to this team, the Dallas Cowboy defense would automatically become better. There's no doubt about that. No doubt at all. And because of the Philadelphia Eagles, who have 2 number 1 receivers, the idea of having 2 number 1 cornerbacks excites me. I would love to have Jalen Ramsey on A.J. Brown and Dez get Devontae Smith. I don't see no problem with it. I would love it. That's just football-wise. But as we all know, it's more than just football. Because when you start looking now at the contract, and let's focus in on 2023. Let me spread that out just a little bit more for y'all, just in case. As you see there by his contract, that his base salary for this upcoming year will be $17 million for this year. If you trade for him, this is what you're going to have to pay him unless you're restructuring his deal. And Jalen, as you can see underneath there, here's the key. It's a potential out for 4 years, $75 million, X amount of money to go along with the 475. So that's an average of 4.3. Let's say 335, 18. That's about $18 million base salary next year. So that's an increase if you were to go that route. But here's what the problem will be if you do this. Diggs is right around the corner getting paid too. So whatever you're paying Ramsey, if you were to get him, you're going to have to pay more to get Diggs. That's business. That's just the way it is. So the first obvious thing is, will Jerry and Stephen Jones have 2 cornerbacks making almost $40 million combined in a season? Now, the answer to that is going to be no. I can tell you that right now. I mean, that's why I was saying. I'm just saying it won't happen. It won't happen. If you were to, I don't see it happening. I'm just saying this intrigues me if you can get Ramsey and possibly restructure a deal that works. Uh, that's the only name that I can see working out. It has a lot of pluses if you really were serious about that. And yes, I'm saying that Jalen Ramsey, the trade, is a Super Bowl type trade. Because why else would you get him? You're really saying if you go out and get a guy like this, it sends a message to the NFL, it sends a message to your opponents, it sends a message to the fan base that if you make a move like this, it lets everybody know we're trying to go for it. Now, that's not a reason why you should get him. I'm just saying a move like this, that is exactly what it will prove. The idea of Diggs and Jalen Ramsey is a big time move. It's no doubt. It's no doubt. Jalen Ramsey obviously is a cornerback that Dan Quinn would love. He fits what Dan Quinn wants. He fits the box. He checks all the boxes. He does. He checks all the boxes that that Dan Quinn likes in his cornerbacks. I mean, it's a lot of pluses that would fit for Jalen Ramsey to move in. Yes, there are other needs, obviously. There are other needs that we need on this team. You know, but this is the guy that I think that everybody wants Deron Payne, everybody. But Washington probably may even put the franchise tag on. They're not gonna let him go. They're not gonna let him go. They're not gonna let him go, y'all. So I think we can just put that to bed. And if he was to come out, do you realize that you would have to pay him probably $18 to $19 million as well? Is he worth it? Yeah, he's worth it to me. Yeah. But with Jerry Jones paying a defensive tackle $19 million, for real, come on now. 18, $19 million. I mean, come on. And keep in mind, Michael Parsons is coming up. So, I mean, for all the great players that we have, you got to pay them. Now, I ain't going to get into how we can pay them because we've all heard, I heard something, I think yesterday or today, of how we can restructure Dak's deal, which is what everybody want to talk about today. I don't even want to talk about that because we already know it's going to happen anyway. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to restructure Dak deal. One way that they can clear $59 million worth of cap space is if they cut Tyron Smith and Ezekiel Elliott. That's one way we can clear a whole lot of money out and pay guys that we're talking about. But the chance of that happening is not going to happen because the Cowboys are loyal to a default. Some of my foundational players, and we hold on them too long. We hold on them way too long. I got a feeling one of those that's going to happen with Zeke and Tyron Smith. You're going to pay the price for some guys that, are older or won't be there too much longer. I just feel like you may not feel like it. Like I said, I feel like that if we add one or two more guys, A real impact guy. It could be just one. It ain't got to be two. I ain't saying we got to buy a Pro Bowl team. I ain't even saying that. I'm just saying at least give me one. Give me one. Oh, a guy that's gonna come in and immediately come in and make things happen. That's all I want. If you're gonna tell me that the draft is our only way of getting better this year, and I know we're gonna get some free agents, but I don't want the depth free agents. I'm tired of it. Every free agent you gotta get somebody that's probably gonna barely make the 53-man roster, or won't even dress, or for game day, or better yet, or they sign to the practice squad. I don't want them type guys. We done that. I don't want that. Give me a guy that's gonna come in and gonna dominate day one. There's some guys out there that can do that. Jalen Ramsey is one. Okay, you don't want Jalen Ramsey. Bobby Wagner will help this defense immediately. Immediately. Day one. Immediately. Deron Payne, if it's some kind of way that we can get him. Immediate help. Day one. Come in rolling. These are the guys that can make you go from 12 wins to 13 or 14 wins. That's how much impact they have. That's how much impact they have. This is what I'm looking for. Now, I just said this is a Super Bowl move. You look at the title of the show. That is a Super Bowl move. If you go out and try to make a trade for Jalen Ramsey, it's a Super Bowl decision. That's what it is. And I don't know if I know Jerry and Steve, like I've seen it. I doubt very seriously that this trade will happen. I doubt very seriously that it's even really being considered, considering the fact of how much he has to get paid, knowing that you got to come right back the following year and pay Diggs. So it's just I don't see that. I don't see it. I don't see it. It'd be beautiful if it happened though. So I'm not even saying I don't even think this. To be honest with you, I really don't. I'm telling you, I'm just dreaming now. I really don't think that this is reality. The thought of even getting him a chance to trade. And here's the other thing, the part that I didn't say. If you were to get Jalen Ramsey, what in the world would the Cowboys have to give up to get him? Considering the fact that we know how much Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones love their draft picks, well, you automatically know you're going to have to get rid of some of your draft picks in order to get a guy like this. This is the price that you pay for real good players. You got to give up something. You're going to have to sacrifice. And I don't think the Cowboys want to give up no draft picks. They love them too much. I mean, the price tag, even though it shouldn't be crazy, but Jalen Ramsey still is Jalen Ramsey. He still can play. He's still one of the top cornerbacks in this league. He's still all-pro level. This dude is the truth. He's considered one of the best cover corners in the game. And look, this dude is the truth, and you gonna have to pay the price. You got to pay the price to get him. I don't see the Cowboys paying their price. That's another reason why I don't think it's gonna happen. I just think that he just, I'm talking about he when I say Steven, he's just He just super cheap. You don't want to give that up. You don't want to give up no draft pick. They value their guys too much, you know. They value the guys too much. So I don't think this really gonna happen. Um, I don't think that really uh, they really don't want to do that. I just don't. Greg says fan base don't want to hear this, but the Cowboys are going to have to make the moves on some big contracts on both sides of the cow ball to free up cap space. Well, every organization has to do that. It's just the Cowboys have shown ways to try to make it work, even when they know the guys aren't what they once were. If they free up Tyron Smith and Ezekiel, if they cut them, that's $59 million saved right there. I mean, it's crazy, $59 million of cap space just by cutting those two. I mean, hey, you cut them two, you can do some of the things I'm talking about right now. You know, and that's another whole show within itself, talking about cutting Tyron Smith and Ezekiel Elliott, because then we have to start really looking like, hey, you know, are they available? Are they effective still? Are they what? You know, are they themselves just only a name, but their play shows they lost, a step or two? These things you got to be honest with. And the Cowboys have been loyal to guys like our own. You know what I'm saying? Tyron Smith and Ezekiel. These guys are our own. And I just don't think that they're going to let go of both of them. I just don't think so. I believe, and if you were to ask me, I believe they would get rid of Tyron Smith before they get rid of Ezekiel Elliott, because there's too many question marks about Tony Pollard's leg. You can't lose two running backs now in the same year. I mean, all you got left on your roster is the other kid. Jesus, my brain just left me. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Oh my God, my brain ain't working. Must be tired. Malik Davis. I'm sorry. You can't lose two. And if everybody's saying, well, we can go get a running back, beat John Robinson, how you know he's gonna be there? You can't bank on that. How you know he's gonna be there? So, we can't lose too. But in the meantime, of restructuring Zeke's deal, are you gonna get the production? Just depend on what you say production is. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. Somebody said something earlier. Terry says, team replace average Prescott. This is last guaranteed money. If he don't produce, cut him loose, help your team get a better quarterback. Our biggest problem. Terry, you asking for trouble when you say something like that. This is where the Dak lovers will come out and cut your head, right? Yeah, The only thing I say about that is, Terry, which is not going to happen, Dak Prescott will be a Cowboy. We all know that. But if you cut him, what is the alternative? I mean, that's the only thing I say about it. If you get rid of Dak, you better have a plan that's gonna keep your team, well above average. Like I say, the window's closing. You're not gonna do that unless you know for sure you got somebody behind that's gonna come behind him who's better. And the only way you're gonna find guys like that is unless it's a free agent that's getting ready to leave their team because it's not in the draft. You know what I'm saying? No, you don't turn the keys over into the hands of a rookie right now. No, not this year, not next year. So what is the alternative? Because let's be honest and truthful. No, Dak Prescott is not a top 5 quarterback, but he's not a top 15 one either. If you gonna get rid of him or let him walk, you better have somebody that's better than him. I don't even want the one that's the same skill level. If you gonna let him ride, you better bring in somebody who's much better than even he was. That's the only thing I'm gonna say about Dak. If you letting go of Dak, because quarterbacks don't grow on trees. Let's just be honest about it. There's levels to this thing. And if you got one of these guys that can, if you got one of these guys that you can't just get rid of like that, like you can't do that. He ain't like the Houston, Texas cornerback. You know what I'm saying? David Mills or somebody. He ain't like that. No, he's not like that. This guy, you don't find quarterback on trees. And they ain't in college either. You know, it's gonna be some that's gonna come out of college, but you only got about 8 or 9 guys, 10 guys who's better at Dak Prescott at what he does for a living. 9 or 10. That's about it. And once you got one of these guys, it's kind of hard to let them go. I noticed that Carson Wentz got released today by the Commanders. See what I'm saying? Come on now. You can't just let go of guys. I ain't saying Carson Wentz is that level, which he's not, but I'm just saying you can't just let go of guys just because you think the grass greener on the other side. You better check the grass before you let them go. You better check the grass. You got to do something with that. So again, and I don't want to hold you guys tonight. Again, you have got to, my opinion, there's some moves out there that can be done to make this team better. And sometimes it's just not all the top tier guys. Some of these second tier free agents is good enough to get the job done too. Folks saying Dak need the weapons and all that kind of stuff. Well, they out there. They're out there. Just gotta see how you gonna make it happen. And Jared and them may not do absolutely nothing. They may use every draft pick they got. That's what they've been doing the last few years. They just might go ahead and just, use first, second, first, all the way through the 7th round. And just let them draft and say, hey, we're going to depend on Jalen Tolbert to be the man. We're going to depend on all those guys. So it's just what it is. Terry said, try something. He said, because this ain't working. Yeah. I ain't gonna argue. Dak Prescott his beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some say he's beautiful. Some say he's not. Some say he's great. Some say he trash. It just all depends on what your eyes see. He won over the last 2 years. He's won 24 games and lost 10. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, y'all. I know we seen the interceptions and all that kind of stuff, but he's 24-10 over the last 2 seasons. Being the starting quarterback for your Dallas Cowboys, I believe any organization in the world would take that. I believe that. Yeah, I believe that. Look, 24-10. That's That's pretty good. I'm sorry. You know, he's won. He has won. He ain't ruined a lot of games. 24-10 over the last 2 years. That sounds like a, he's a pretty good quarterback now. Let's not act like this dude is just trash. No, he's not trash. He just ain't took that label off of him yet. Win, quote unquote, the big game. That's what his problem is. Until he erases that, that's when you might see something. So again, tonight, Jalen Ramsey. I personally love the idea. Football wise, I love the idea. Ain't no sense in me lying about it. Money wise, however, is gonna be a problem. And because of that, I don't think the Cowboys will pull the trigger on that at all. I know Stephen Jones. I know how he operates. I've seen it now for the last God knows how many years. He is who he is. We shouldn't expect anything different. You know they're gonna lean heavily on the draft, and they're gonna use the free agent pool for depth, not for impact. That's the MO for Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, Will McClay. This is what they do. I don't see why anything is gonna be different. So I hope the dream does happen, but I doubt it very seriously. All right. I appreciate y'all tonight. Time for some of y'all to go to bed. That's myself included too, I may add. That's myself included, I may add. It's time for me to lay it down and go to bed too. All right. Gotta get up in the morning, get ready to go to work. Tired. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not done. The phone line is open. I ain't gonna do y'all like that. Y'all stayed up with me. Y'all stayed up with me for this. Least I can do is open up the phone line real quick. You can go ahead and call in right now. We'll do a couple and then we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate everybody hanging with me. Do you agree with me? There are some Super Bowl moves out here. It is. It is. This would be one of them. Here we go. Let me see who this is.
Call from.
All right. There he is. The one and only. Coach Mar, what's going on, brother?
What's going on with Big Time? What's going on with you, man? You know something, man? Big Time, yeah. You know, there's a lot of things floating around out there about the Cowboys. The first one is just correct one thing. $59 million, they say and we hear these reports, and then when somebody speaks about the report and really, it's not just fit.
Mm-hmm. Hello? Coach, you there? All right. Coach, I think I lost Coach. Who is this?
Gary. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, how's it going, Bishop?
Hey, man. I think Coach Marv. Yeah. Coach Marv, you there? I lost you. So I picked up Terry. Give me a call back, Coach, if you're listening. Once I get through with Terry here, give me a call right back. All right, go ahead, Terry.
Well, I was just going to say insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Mm-hmm. And if you're going ahead and look at it, we keep doing the same old thing. Dak ain't got it. Realize that this boy ain't got it. The Bible even tells you, how long do you stay in a bad deal? 4 years. If in 4 years, if a man start a business, he plant a field, start a business, and it don't show a profit. How long? In 4 years. If he don't show a profit in 4 years, tune it down and plant again. That do something else. That boy should have been gone 3 years ago. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the Bible. That's the book. That boy ain't got it. He should have been gone. You see, Jalen Hurts went and worked on his game, and now he is better than average Prescott. And fact of the matter is, the boy ain't got it. Stop trying to build up everything around him. Realize he ain't got it. We paying him $40-something million, and he ain't got it. We can't believe in him. Okay, he won a road playoff game. Shangri-La-Di-Da, you beat an 8-9 team. They was just the wounded animal on the savannah. They just waiting for anything to come take them out their misery. They in so much pain. Man, Tom Brady was retired 2 weeks before that. And that's not impressive. And nobody wants to say it. Nobody's saying it. You in a playoff game, that defense gave up 13 points. 13. Now the score was 19 because average Prescott threw 2 short field interceptions, gave them field goals. Make it 19. 19-13, you supposed to win that game. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You supposed to win. If you can't beat a team and you giving up 13 points, you can't beat them, hey, somebody need to go. Hey, this is real life. This producer get cut loose. How many times I got for my wife to walk in the door and flip the lights and it don't come on? You think she gonna put up with 7 years of that? Do I have 7 years? I'm looking at her right now and she looking at me funny. She telling me you ain't got 7 minutes. So I mean this is life. And
hold on, Coach Mar. Hold on, Coach Mar. I'm coming back.
Put some fire under Stephen Jones. Put some fire under. Hey, they too comfortable in that front office. Let them know you can't be replaced. This is real life. 1983, Ronald Reagan turned this country, and the producer get cut loose. Don't keep continuing this cycle of ineptitude. It's not good enough. Do something to show me that you're trying to get better.
Well,
the most important part is the quarterback.
Well, this is where I said when it comes to Dak Prescott, unfortunately for him, his beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I ain't gonna go that deep on Dak like you just did, but some of the things that you are mentioning, you have to sit down and think about it. Because what I've said about Dak is that the narrative has not changed on him. We have the same narrative or the same question marks that we've had on him for the last 4 to 5 years. The book on him is that he owns the NFC East and he beats up on lesser teams. And when it comes to the big game, he just can't
500 or better.
Can't get over the hump. The book haven't really changed, and the stats don't lie. I will say that. But however, I still the other side of the coin, Terry, is what's the alternative? Because you can't turn this team over into the hands of a young quarterback. You can't turn it over into the hands of a Cooper Rush. And if you're going to pay for this guy, I mean, you got to show me who you got to have. I see Coach Marv. Coach Marv just blazing over here. I know he is. I know Coach Marv just blazing. He won't even let me get finished with you. So Coach, I got Terry and Coach here at the same time because I want to say like Coach, I didn't want to, but my question, Terry, to you is who are you going to get? Because the answer is not in the draft. and you got to be getting me somebody way better than Dak if you talking about letting them go. And those guys, you ain't once you look above Dak, it ain't too many guys that's way better than Dak. Now I'm just saying he ain't done what we want him to do, but it ain't what you gonna do. I mean, if you're gonna turn it over, you got to turn it over to somebody that's way better. Now, a lot of folks, and it's just dreamland again. A lot of folks start talking about Aaron Rodgers and all that kind of stuff. Well, you ain't gonna do that. Number one, no matter what you feel like about that, but you're not gonna turn it over to Aaron Rodgers because you ain't gonna have Aaron Rodgers for one year or two. You ain't gonna turn it over to him. So that's not the answer. And this crap that I keep hearing about CJ Stroud, it make me laugh. You're not turning this team over to CJ Stroud day one. I mean, even if you when you draft somebody in the first round, your days are numbered as a starting quarterback if you're ahead of them because the first round guy got to play. So we ain't even entertaining that. That's just a bunch of clickbait. They're committed to Dak Prescott. There ain't no doubt about that. He's gonna be a Cowboy for a long time. So we just got to make sure that we put stuff around. I can't talk. Coach Marv, go ahead. I know you're on there.
Hey, how you doing? Good time. My question to that is, who else in the league? The criteria that they rank, we rank that Prescott about the big games, win the big game. So tell me what quarterback in the league right now, if we're doing our ranking about winning big games, is over Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And number two, because Patrick Mahomes been in 3 of the last Super Bowls. Joe Burrow been in one of them, and then you had the great Tom Brady, who's been in with Tampa Bay, but he's been in multiple Super Bowls. Even the Aaron Rodgers has lost more big games and playoff games than Dak Prescott by far. He done lost about 4 or 5 NFC. He done lost about 4 or 5 NFC championship games.
Yeah.
I mean, he has lost a lot of big games.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of the big games, he looked horrible. I remember 4 years ago against San Francisco, threw about 4 or 5 years. Listen.
I got one better than that, Coach. A lot of them games he lost was right there at a place where everybody said he had no chance to win. And that's in Green Bay. He lost at home in the frozen tundra where nobody want to come in the NFC Championship game and all that kind of stuff. So I don't get that. I think this Terry coming back. I don't know who this is.
Terry.
Yeah, Terry. The coach, I'm gonna bring him on. Because we have the opposite end of the spectrum here. We got somebody who says Dak, you gotta get out of here. Then you got coach who's saying, no, Dak need to stay. Terry, what you talking about? You got on with Coach Marv now. Terry, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Coach Marv, hold on. Let me see how I can do this. How can I do it? Okay, I got it. All right, I got both of y'all on. All right, Coach. Coach, you there?
I'm here.
All right, Terry, you there?
I'm here.
Terry?
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
just looking at it just like what I did just now. Do I leave that rotten piece of fruit on top of the other fruit, or do I take that piece and get rid of it?
Okay.
I mean, because if you need a 7 to win the Super Bowl, a 7.5 to win the Super Bowl, and all that Dak Prescott is a 7. I mean, we make excuse after excuse after excuse. Oh, Tyrus was gone in Atlanta and he got sacked so many times. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw Joe Burrow get sacked 8 times and still go to the Super Bowl. I mean, stop making these excuses. Producer get cut loose. Oh, well, it's more than just that on the team.
My question is
a game. Okay.
You said Joe Burrow got the Super Bowl. How did he get the Super Bowl? Did he have a great game, or did the guy throw 2 interceptions to them in the red zone? They had to kick field goal.
Yeah, it's I don't have to. It's
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Dak did not play well against San Francisco. We all know that.
Did Patrick Mahomes play an outstanding game against the Windows Super Bowl?
No, he did not. He did not. The only thing that I would say,
he came through in the clutch. He came through at the
well, I think most people would say
in the money time.
I think that most people say that the bottom line is that he got there, and that's what they'll hold Dak to. Even though, Coach, your argument was right about Aaron Rodgers, people would change the goalposts and say, well, the man did get there. Dak can't even get out the first round. That's what that's which is really not all Dak Prescott's fault. He did not play well against San Francisco, but at the same time, a lot of the playoff games that Dak played in, we all know that it was we didn't win that Green Bay game in Dallas, but everybody keep forgetting that our defense let Green Bay score 31 points. We jumped out on 31-3. That ain't on Dak now.
We didn't win the game. We didn't win the playoff game against the Rams.
Yeah.
So tell me the record of teams that win a playoff game when you give up 245 rushing yards?
Yeah. So I mean, it's not all on Dak, but I get what you're saying this time, Terry.
My point. That was my point. If you're talking about a free agent, it needs to be Mr. Payne. Nobody else, because all that other stuff. I mean, even if you get Jalen Ramsey in some, I don't know, crazy world or whatever, some mystery world or whatever, you get Jalen Ramsey. I mean, Stephen Jones just opened up the checkbook. You get Jalen Ramsey. All they're gonna do is go in ahead and exploit our weakness that has been our weakness forever in 4 days. They're gonna turn around and run the ball on you. Yeah. That's all they're gonna do. Run the ball down your throat.
I ain't gonna argue with you, Terry, because that's why I say when you start talking about,
I got another free agent. If you don't get Payne gonna be franchise tag.
Yeah, he gonna get franchise.
But somebody, Payne gonna get franchise tag. But somebody who is just as good as Payne, somebody just as good as Payne and put up just as good as numbers as Payne, and probably better numbers than Payne, would kill two birds with one stone. And they gonna let him go because they ain't got the money to pay for him. Devon Hargrave is
beautiful.
Hargrave, the Eagles can't pay him.
Beautiful.
Listen, man, if we think the Eagles gonna get better, that's fools go. They don't have to let Payne go. They don't have no defensive lineman side other than Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
They have no linebacker but one linebacker that's a rookie that didn't play last year. Yeah. Two of their secondary guys are free agents, and two of their offensive linemen are free agents. And they got to sign Jalen Ramsey. They got to sign Hurts to his extension. Don't feel when the fools go that the Eagles going to be better next year. That's impossible.
My wife is amazingly. My wife is an Eagles fan, and she's salivating at the mouth. But this is my conversation. But she keeps telling me that Jalen Hurts is not that kind of guy, and he's not going to take all that money, and they're going to leave money around to sign these other guys on the team. And Hargrove he want to be in Philly, and that's all whatever talk. But when it's all about what the agents want, and Jalen Hurts got all these women on his team, see all these new streams of income coming in, and that Amazon money that's coming, they about to steal Thursday night they already got, and they coming after one of them Sunday games. So I mean, they see the money coming, and them women ain't gonna let that money go. So he finna get a big chunk of the money.
Wow.
So I don't.
I'm gonna say something right.
No, I'm finna get good. I appreciate you, Terry.
I'm gonna say right quick, big show.
No, let me get Terry. I appreciate you, man. Let me get Coach on the dance floor here. I appreciate you, man.
Okay.
All right, Doc.
Stay up, Terry.
All right, Doc.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Terry. All right, Coach. You got the dance floor.
I just want to say something right quick. Man. I think our Cowboy fans, man, and I'm a talk to the voice of reason, man. I'm just as thirsty as everybody else, but I think our thirst is making us move to a point of saying we want that splash. As long as I've been a Cowboy fan, we ain't never been a splash. Get to the Super Bowl and then disappear. We have always, when we was in our heydays in 2 decades, we were dominant, and the Super Bowl had to come through us for a multitude of years. And some of these moves we talking about are this splash, and what they end up going to do, if they don't splash, we might be in that rebuilding stage. I don't think this team is rebuilding when you're the third youngest team in the NFL. And I don't think the window is really closing. I think the window is just starting to open because we just started to get the consistency in having good seasons back to back, which is very important. But I do want to say something, man. When we start looking at, we talking about making these big moves and big splash moves and about other teams, we got to miss the perception on the Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Eagles of how they got their splash moves, and we say, oh, they spent a lot of money. Well, the Rams didn't really spend a lot of money. The only player they added in that year that they won the Super Bowl was Odell Beckham, and he was cut, and they got it for $2 million at a bargain deal for 6 games because he was cut. All the other money they spent was the next year when they started anteing up a bunch of contracts and getting Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp signed the big extensions. And now we see that year turned out to be a splash, and now they're cutting everything. They're going because they're actually going back to square one.
I don't think they cared.
Same thing.
I don't think they cared though, Coach. They knew that they knew that the Super Bowl was going to be in their home stadium that year.
Right, but they didn't spend the money. They didn't spend the money.
Oh, they did
spend. They got the Super Bowl.
They did get one. You forgot. They went and got Vaughn. They went and got Vaughn. Yes, they did spend some money.
Okay, this is what it is. You traded to get Von Miller they got Von Miller for the last 6 games. When you traded to get Von Miller, you only paid him for the last 6 games. Yeah. When his contract came up, you knew you was just doing it for one. You caught a team that was trying to get rid of because they was on the rebuild and they was gonna get him. Yeah. If you look at the history of the NFL, and this is recent all the way back, see a free agent signings that are very big impact signings. There's very little or none. Now, if you're going to get a guy from a trade, and you may have to catch a team that's trying to get rid of it. If you're looking for a cornerback, you're going to have to get a guy from a trade because if a guy is a marquee free agent, that's a dominant player, 9 times out of 10 with a franchise tag, he's staying where he's put. Now, you may get a trade, but you got to catch lightning in the bottle. You got to catch lightning in the ball like Philadelphia did.
They played it smart. Don't forget, they also did a little few game rental with Sue, if I'm not mistaken, too. Remember the Rams did Dominican Sue that year. What I'm talking about was that Tampa. I'm sorry, Tampa. That's when he was with Tampa.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay when people say Tampa spent a whole lot of money, they caught a guy that was a free agent in Tom Brady that wanted to go to Florida because he wanted to get out of New England. He wanted to go to a warm weather. You think about it, Tom Brady didn't take market money when he signed with Tampa. No. He took $30 million a year.
Yeah.
And then the guy, they said he spent a whole lot of money on Gronkowski. Gronkowski came there because he only wants to play with Tom Brady. So that's an easy sign.
Yeah.
Well, they spent money on Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown took a basic level contract because he wanted to play with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They didn't go out and when they did spend when they did spend the money the next year when their free agents was all up and they said we want to run it back, and then they started giving the Bears and all these people the big money because a lot of that team that they won with was homegrown.
Yeah.
Was guys they had already had that they had drafted that got to the maturity, and they said, okay, now they're ready to win a Super Bowl. And that's not guys that you're gonna get out of 1 or 2 years, but you're at a point. Yes, we're gonna have to get someone, but hitting a home run with a big time free agent, if the Cowboys gonna make any move, it's gonna be with drafting now. And the problem is this, or trade. The problem with Jalen Ramsey is this. You got to sign Diggs now.
Oh,
Diggs is not a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He's not a first-round draft pick, so he's in his lame duck year next year.
Yeah.
You think Diggs gonna come out there and say, You just traded a guy named Jalen Ramsey that's making money, and you want me to play on a 1 year, $4 million contract. If I get hurt, I'm not gonna get my payday.
Yeah, that's why I
That
said
ain't gonna happen.
It don't even make sense. That's why I said before. Just in football wise, it makes sense, but not contract wise, it don't make sense at all.
And this is what I want people to understand. There is not a team in this league that has two $20 million cornerbacks.
Exactly.
There ain't gonna be a team in this league that, listen, Kansas City showed you that they were not gonna have a $29 or $30 million receiver and a $30 million tight end. Nope. They said what they said. We're gonna trust our coaching staff to get pieces in here, and we're gonna formulate 2 or 3 guys that can do, maybe not do what Tyreek Hill do, but I believe in my coaching staff enough to know if I get someone else in here, and they're gonna be 1 year rentals, because they're gonna get rid of all those guys. Schuster, they not even gonna sign him. He was there for a purpose. They let him do a certain job, and then they push him on down the line.
And some of them got it for cheap too, like a Dominican Sue, who was a Ram too. He only played a few games, and they just got, they knew it was gonna be over with, and they got him for cheap too. But Sue still had some gas left in that tank. And actually had gas left for Philadelphia this year too, just a little bit. But he wanted to, dominant, but he was cheap. He still just had some gas in the tank.
Yeah, so they're trying for half a year. Now I'm telling you this is what we talk about. We talk about, and this is the great thing about what I believe Andy Reid and his coaching staff is, how you coach yourself up to a Super Bowl. We talk about Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, we talk about Patrick Mahomes, and we talk about Patrick Mahomes. He threw the ball 49 times the year before, and last time in the Super Bowl, and he didn't score a touchdown. He threw the ball 27 times this time, and he threw for 157 yards, and they scored 35 points. So that means he was efficient in what their game plan was, and they kept the game plan to a way that they can control the game. Yeah. But let me explain the one thing that Kansas City did. Kansas City had 3 rookie guys that started in their secondary, where their defense finished 10th in the league this year. 3 rookie guys. None of those guys were top-ranked draft picks, first and second round guys. But this is where your coaching staff take what you have and they get the most out of it. If any problem in Dallas has been since they had their Super Bowl run, since Jimmy Johnson, it ain't been a collection of players. It's been when you have had people in place that have run the organization that didn't get the maximum of the groceries that you put in the cupboard.
Yeah.
I've said this and I've said it 1,000 times. The greats have said it. Bill Parcells said that Dak can win a Super Bowl. Jimmy Johnson said you can win a Super Bowl. There has not been a great coach that said, no, you couldn't win a Super Bowl with. But if this same team is constructed as they had last year, and you gave that team to Sean McVay or gave it to Kyle Shanahan, without changing one person, we would have been playing in the Super Bowl.
Coaching. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you ain't got the right cooks in the kitchen, you're going to be in trouble.
And I'll say this in closing. We talked about Kellen for a long time. Now, if Mike McCarthy says he's going to take it, I think he understands where this team was successful and and it seems like the moves that we need to be thinking about, the moves that he made with hiring a guy to be the offense coordinator with his background, of his run background, the West Coast offense, which is does throw the ball, but it depends on the running game and depends on the running backs being a vital part of this offense. I believe if he comes in and start what he wants, and if this is more efficient to the Cowboys, you're going to be able to have a better chance. And yes, you may need to add a piece of just a piece of here and there that's going to play play very well. but you're not far. But remember this, Big Show. If they don't build this team through the draft. If they can find that piece and this team get the experience of getting to an NFC championship or a Super Bowl and winning, this is a dominant team for not a short period of time. This is a dominant team for a run. Yeah. This ain't the Eagles where you caught lightning in the bottle and now you got 11 free agents and they ain't signed your quarterback and now you got to start all over. You ain't got no coordinator. This ain't that. This ain't the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they had an old quarterback and they did that and now they back into let's rebuild. This ain't the Rams when they won. They caught lightning in the ball. Now they're throwing the whole thing off because they don't really have no pieces for a draft pick. This team can make a run for a while, but you got to get them over the hump and you got to make the plays. You got to make the plays big on the interception. You got to make the tackles. You got to not turn the ball over, and you got to utilize the assets you have to the best. Because just like you said, this ain't fantasy football. You just can't go pluck people out there. It's the coaches that take what they got with talent and get the best out of it.
Yep. I agree, Coach. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the
I
insight
appreciate
again.
you, Big Show.
All right, we'll see you
Keep
again.
on pushing, brother.
All right, now I appreciate you. All right, that was the one and only, the Coach Mar. See, when it comes to the Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen, you got a lot of different angles that you can come from. And here's the funny part about it. All of them can, in a sense, be right. You see, Dak Prescott is turning into, for me, he's turning into one of the most interesting Dallas Cowboys ever because there's not a consensus opinion about him. You can find a diehard Cowboy fan and can say, hey, this dude is legit. This dude is a top 8, top 9, top 10 quarterback, and you can win with him. And then at the same time, you can find another guy who can say, Dak ain't gonna get it done. He's not that good. He's just above average. He gets exposed in big games and to a degree that is the truth as well. It ain't been too many Dallas Cowboys that can have that type of distinction. That you're just not 100% sure on the guy. This is what's so strange about him. This is what's so electric about this dude. Is that it's not a consensus, a overall opinion about this dude. Me personally, because it's been proven. When you surround Dak with a lot of weapons around him, he's much better. That's just the truth. We tried this committee by receiver approach before. It didn't work out. That's why we went and got Amari Cooper from Tennessee. We had it somewhat this year. The difference was that CeeDee Lamb played out of his mind this year, and he was still able to, put up big numbers. But Dak needs a real guy on the other end of him. That's been proven. His best years were when Amari Cooper was there, CeeDee Lamb, and what's my guy? Oh my goodness. Oh, my brain ain't where I'm too tired. Cedric Wilson. The offense was number one in the league. Dak was humming it everywhere. That's the type of guy he needs. He needs those. That's just my opinion. He needs to stop being so loyal to Ezekiel Elliott as well. Zeke is not the same guy. I understand he was injured, but his body is been beat up too much now. Even when he's healthy, He still doesn't have the burst that he used to have. When you don't take the beatings that he's taking, your body's supposed to pay somewhat of a price. We got to stop acting like he the guy. The best running back on this team was Tony Pollard. It was not Ezekiel Elliott. It was Tony Pollard. We still have the major problem. We still have the minute problem of saying that Ezekiel is still the best running back on this roster. That's a lie. That's a lie. He's not. That coach again.
Call from
Coach Mark.
Go ahead, coach. Go ahead, coach.
Hey, big time. I had to call back. You touched the nerve with him.
Yeah, I figured I would.
Touched the nerve.
I figured I would. It's the truth.
If anybody watch film and tell me Ezekiel Elliott done lost that much, well, tell them let's go and watch it thoroughly. And this, when you watch film on running backs, you can't watch film on running backs comparing them to another running back with another style and say, "Oh, he don't have it." You know how hard it is. I don't think people understand this. You know how hard it is to run for 875 yards, missing 2 games, and you have another running back is a dynamic in your backfield that runs for 1,000 yards, and you you in a run offense that ran the ball but not really creative in the running, that don't even have a run game coordinator.
He has value. He's just not that guy no more. That's my opinion. He's just not. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he's not productive. He's just not that guy that we knew, and most people aren't. He's just not that guy. Go ahead.
That's right. He's not productive. He's not that guy that's productive as what we knew. But that doesn't mean
no
that he can't be productive for the things that he do for your team. Now, does Ezekiel Elliott know that, okay, no, I understand that, okay, I'm not at that point of I'm a $10 million running back. I'm not at that point where my cap hit is hit $10 million. I understand that, hey, wherever I go, if I leave Dallas, I'm not going to get that payday. That's not going to happen.
No.
And he understands also that Tony Pollard is where he understands the young guy is, and he knows he's going to get paid. And I don't think we should worry about the failure thing is a bad thing. I mean, those things happen to players. So I don't think that that's going to be a hindrance to him. But I just don't think Tony Pollard is a 20 carry guy, because you can't tell Tony Pollard at this particular in his career if he ain't been a 20 carry guy since probably
he ain't never been one. And I'll say this about Tony Pollard: I don't even think that's the gauge. I think Tony Pollard is a 20 carry guy, but here's the question: can he do it for over 17, 18 weeks? Now that part I don't think he can. So I believe I've seen him get the ball 20 times a game running the ball. He can do that, but for how long? And that's the issue.
I would say this: has anybody made this thought? Had this thought that the production that you got from Tony Pollard is because Ezekiel Elliott carrying some of the ball?
I don't know, Coach, because they was stacking the same box. When Pollard came in, he got that 8-man box too, and he produced in it. But at the same time, for what they asked Ezekiel Elliott to do, he's still productive. I mean, the man had 12 touchdowns this year. I mean, come on now. I mean, Zeke.
We had
Zeke put it in the end zone, but that's because that goes back to what you said before in your initial comments. Coaching, they knew. Okay. Kellen Moore finally figured out when you get inside the 5-yard line, get this man the football, because he can do that. There's some value there. It ain't no question about it. But at the point to get things really popping in this offense, it's obvious that Tony Pollard is that guy now. I mean, the man made the Pro Bowl. I mean, come on now. as a backup.
I mean,
As a backup now. He's not even a number one running back.
And when we talk about see we get all this misconception about Ezekiel Elliott, and we say, okay, he when he played the last 2 years, he got hurt, but he still played, and with him hurt, still probably was more productive than anybody would be hurt with the injuries he had. And they say, oh well, no, he don't have a 3.8 yards to carry. Don't you know that's 0.5 from his career record, his career average? He has never been a home run guy. You're talking about a big guy. He's always been a big guy, and he may get explosive running here, but he was a guy that got 25 carries to average 100 yards. He's averaging 4 yards a carry. He's a guy that's not going to get you explosive plays. He's not going to get you those 40 or 50 explosive plays. But then there's another stat that they don't even talk about. Don't you know Ezekiel Elliott ranked in the top 10 in explosive runs this year? And a running back,
he did
17 to 12, and we still say, well, you know, he gotta be better than that. He gotta be first for us to say that he still got. I would say this. That
goes to what you were saying earlier, Coach. Is that we done watched enough games that we know what's gonna happen on first down and 10 with Kellen Moore. You're gonna run in a single back, 2 tight end set. And you're going to run Ezekiel Elliott straight up the middle, and Ezekiel Elliott going to get 1 or 2 yards. It's just automatic. But as coordinator, but at the same time, we got the type of quarterback that don't need to be in 3rd and 7s and 3rds and 8s. We got to get Dak in 3rd and 4s. That's when he's most effective. He's not really great at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And because because of the loyalty to Zeke and giving him the ball first down, possibly second down, and now you're looking at his 3rd and 7 because Zeke ain't getting too much more. And then when they bring Pollard in, run the same plays with the same line instead of being second down and 8. It's second down and 4. It's 3rd and 2. I mean,
with Pollard, Pollard the last 5 games when the run game kind of got stuff, Pollard would average 2.5 yards carry.
He was, and he wouldn't stop running. He stopped running. He got pass happy. I mean, we know what went on.
Yeah, the run game got dull to the point, and this is what I'm saying to you is this. And this is what I'm saying this. If we stood on the table about Kellen Moore and now we see a transition in the coaching staff of the philosophies that these coaches have had that they're bringing into the offensive room, even with the offensive line coach, the coordinator with coordinator bringing in, and we're bringing in that philosophy. Wouldn't it be to our advantage for a duo that got 1,900 yards and was probably the top duo in the league? And if you put them in a better situation, what would that 1,900 be? Plus, if you target them, and this is the most big travesty thing, they targeted the running backs this year in passes 70 times.
That's pretty low.
Ezekiel Elliott's career, he has averaged over 50 catches a year, and they only targeted the running backs together 70 times in the whole year. And if you give that, would you say, if we're going to say that the run game and the running back is going to be a very important thing to this offense?
Yeah.
And if we're at this particular point in time, if I'm going to trust that to stuff that I don't know, or I'm going to say, if I'm my confidence, say, no, the reason I told the Jones that I could take this over with because I got 2 dogs here he ain't used right.
Yeah. Well, we ain't gonna know. We ain't gonna know about that. We ain't gonna know about that until the season starts. But it's a different voice.
I think Zeke's gonna take this. He gonna take a pay cut. He gonna do this. He gonna do the exact same thing. This is the exact situation. Zeke is in the exact same spot that D-Law was in last year.
Yep.
And D-Law knew that he was no longer top paid defensive end money, and he took a whole nother salary to keep another guy in there because his first expect to take this cut to keep Randy Gregory. Well, they came to the table and then they pulled off Randy Gregory. But I would tell you this: when we were trying to throw D-Law off the board, check the film. D-Law that made that when you talk about pressure rate and causing turnovers and all kinds of stuff. If we would have kicked him off the boat last year, saying, "Oh well, you're making too much, he shouldn't get that." Man, don't even give him a pay cut. Don't even take him as a pay cut. Get rid of him. We would have hurt. And I hope we don't go through that same way with Zeke this year. Yeah. Because he wanted to take a pay cut and they can fit that in and then say, hey, that pay cut is going to be a prove it or go on deal. Because we tap the contract, it's not going to hamstring us for 2 or 3 years. It might hamstring us for 1 or 2, like D-Law, and then we cut bait and go on. Yeah. But you got to have a plan, and the plan ain't going to be out there to say, we're going to get some rookies, and then, just like you don't like to do this, Big Show, we're going to entrust the most important part to Dak's success and our success as an offense to rookies?
Yeah, exactly. I said that. You can't do that. No way.
So that's what I say about Zeke, man. It's an amazing thing, man, for 2 years to run for 1,800 yards with knee injuries, and when you got another good back in your backfield and splitting your carries, and he ran for 875 yards with the lowest amount of carries in a season in his career. So if he'd got the same amount of carries he usually get in his career, we're talking about 1,100 or 1,200 yard season.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt. Appreciate you, Coach, once again. Facts.
All right, Big Show.
All right, bro. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and shut it down after that. It's just perspective. It really is. It really is perspective. I see it this way. You see it that way. And there are elements that people are right. That's the dilemma of what it is. I said this on the show, I believe on Saturday, that Ezekiel Elliott has value. It ain't no question about that. The man had 12 touchdowns, but that's because they finally figured out where he was most effective, and that was inside the 5-yard line. You know, if Zeke get the ball, you know, and I say first down and 10, and then it's second down, now it's second down and 7, or second down and 8, we're inside the goal line, that's big. Give it to him twice, he gonna score. 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches. That's where Zeke is tremendously effective. That's why when it comes to Pollard, if you want to get the offense really to be as effective as it can be, you put Pollard in there. If you want to grind it out, if you want to do all that, that's when Zeke comes into play. He's not as explosive as he once was, even though Coach gave the frat and said he had some of the most explosive runs. You know, it's far in between when you actually saw it. But the stats, I guess, don't lie on that part. But my eyes tell me if you want to get this offense popping, it's time to put Pollard in the game. That's where you're going to be the most effective. But there's a place for both of them. It's going to happen anyway. It's hard for me to believe that they're going to let go of Zeke, especially since Pollard is coming off the injury that he's had. You're not going to lose 2 running backs. It's just not going to happen. So I believe they're going to sign him. We'll see. New voice, new game plans, new strategy, new offensive coordinator and Coach McCarthy, new play caller. We ain't going to know this until, probably after about week 4 when we can finally judge, a little bit. We can't do it after one game. We're going to see after about week 4 where we can really gauge McCarthy and see how well he's doing or if he's not doing well at all. So It is what it is. Terry say Pollard and Davis the future. Bye Zeke. Hey, first of all, they got to trust Davis. That's the first thing. They didn't do that in the playoff game, so you got to trust to give him the ball. Number one, before we do all that, but you're gonna have to throw Zeke in because they're gonna pay him. All right, it's gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out. My time is up. It's been up actually. We all got to go to work, or some of us got to go to work in the morning. My time is up. I will see you guys this Saturday at 3 p.m. Yeah. It's this Saturday at 3 p.m. We'll try to do all of this again. We'll see if something has happened between now and Saturday. One thing about it, maybe not nothing as far as trades or goals or anything like that. But just like today, Steve and Jones talk, we really didn't even get to that because I really didn't want to concentrate on that. But we'll talk about, the guys starting to talk a little bit now. So whenever they talk, you got to listen. And I guess right now we're just in critiquing mode about what's going on. So we'll see what happens on Saturday at 3 p.m. I will holler at all of you then. I mean, all of you again. Thanks for listening. These are the ways you can see on the ticker that you can support the podcast. Appreciate all of you doing that. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, it would be nice if you would do that. I would appreciate it so much. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to me and thanks for hanging with me tonight. Go ahead and give me, I started to see some clap emojis. I already see it. Yeah. Steven talking too much, Terry said, yeah, as usual. But this is what they do. So when they talk, I'm gonna talk. All right, I see Miss Tweety. Yep, you got your clap clans emoji. I don't have to say anything. Y'all know what time it is. Time to put your hands together and let's get out of here together. This has been, ladies and gentlemen, the Big Time Show.